Alright, what's good, y'all? I got a little change of venue today. I'm actually laying in bed. I don't know if I told you guys on Monday, but I actually got surgery about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago on my knee. So today's just one of those days where I just kind of just want to chill. Um, so I actually did end up trading today, even though it's just one of those days. I didn't trade yesterday. Just because I had some stuff to do, so I didn't end up trading. But um, just a quick recap. So this morning, I took 2 trades this morning, and I also kind of dabbled into options as well. So I ended up losing on options, but I only risked it was like $100. So I took 3 trades on options. I have one still active. And I took one call for QQQ. I ended up losing that one, and then I took call for Intel, and then that one I actually ended up making money. It was like $10-15, and then I have one on PayPal, but that was a call as well, but that one's still running in. So we'll see how that one goes. QQQ I lost, and that was the one I lost most money, but again it was only like $60, and then I have one for PayPal that was like 15, and then the Intel one, which I ended up making on Intel. And then today I took 2 shorts. Today was a very choppy market. Just for the fact that yesterday we had a big like opening range, right? And normally when you have, or not, sorry, not opening range, when you have a big range on the previous day, the post day, so for example, today is going to be very choppy and it's going to be hard to kind of determine where market's going to go. So today is kind of like you want to risk a little less than you would normally on the trades. So again, I took 2 shorts. I ended up greening on both of them. First one I made like 300 profit. Second one I made 500 profit. And then so just scrolling through here, at least in the daily time frame, obviously there's not much. Did mark out these lows here and this low here, which we actually did end up taking, and then possibly looking to hit this volume imbalance in here as well, which is actually a new week opening gap. And then going down to the 4 hour. So again, 4 hour, obviously there wasn't much. We can see, right, there's a large range on yesterday, and then we have this downward move again. So that kind of told us that today's going to be you want to risk a little less on days like this. Here's that range from yesterday. There we go. Okay. So again, on the 4 hour, overall I did have a bearish bias. I was hoping we'd long up into these imbalances in here, these fair value gaps in here, but as you guys can see, we didn't really do that. We did tag this 4 hour fair value gap though, which was also the inversion, which allowed us to dump. And as you guys can see, we took out the sell side here, which was the my external draw of the day. And then going down to the 1 hour, again, no SMTs, nothing like that. We'll go down to the 1 hour. And the 1 hour, no SMTs. Actually, we did have an SMT in here in the hourly. I actually didn't note that on my analysis this morning, but we have the hourly SMT here, which would have been nice to notice. And as well as we have this fair value gap that we tagged into coming up. We didn't tag the inversion of this gap, and again, I was hoping for us to come and tag this one in here as well in the hourly, which again we did not hit. And then with just a little bit of retracement, then we had that dump down again. Here we go. Maybe possible another entry here in the PM session, right? But we don't know. We didn't look at the PM session. So again, all right, external draw down here. There we go. Is their external draw, right? Where is it? On my mark. There we go. All right, external draw there. And then here's the first target, second target down here at 25, basically 25,000 even. So there's that for the day. Then we go down to the 15-minute. This is kind of where we started executing our trades and stuff like that. So the lower time frames. And I like to keep these 3 charts on my Top Step trading interface, or whatever you want to call it. Sometimes, mainly I'm looking at the 1 minute. So right now we have the 15-minute, but mainly I'm looking at the 1 minute. I'll toggle from the 5-minute and so on, and then this one I keep on either the hourly or the 15, just depending on the range of the day and other things, just depending on how the day is moving. A 15-minute So we have market open right here. Right, again on the 15-minute, not much, no fair value gaps to tag, right? We have a little volume imbalance in here, but no biggie. Obviously nothing crazy in here. We have this inversion of this gap, right? Here, just looking at this, nice V shape. What is this? Inverse of the fair value gap, right? We have this fair value gap here as well. Market structure shift, right? So we can kind of determine here just off the 15-minute, we might come up and tag this high up in here, this one, or these ones. Just looking off the 15-minute, but don't take that for don't take what I'm saying seriously. That's just what I noted here. And then we go down to the 1 minute. I know I'm speaking fast, but there's a few key takeaways that you guys might have been able to note. Okay, so we'll move down here in the 1 minute. So we had first presented at 9:31. So this is kind of where we started looking for trades this morning. So I'll zoom in a little bit for you guys. So obviously we had this dump in the morning, right at market open, right? Dump, first presented gap. Then we had this inversion of this first presented gap here. My first trade was basically on two cases. Basically, if you inverse this first gap here, the first fair value gap of this downward move, or if we end up inversing this fair value gap here on the 1 minute, I'll mark it out for you guys. So that's kind of was like, if we inverse this bullish gap, we're looking to go short. If we inverse this bearish gap, we're looking to go long. So that's kind of what I noted. Again, here we were kind of just holding price in here. And then, as you guys can see, we inverse this gap in here. I actually caught this little move in here. It was a very quick move. I caught it. Where did I catch it? So I caught it around here. So as we tag the suspension block, let me get the short position right. So we tag the suspension block right here. My stop was tight. Right, my stop was like, sorry, that's actually wide stop. So that was a wide stop. And then here, I just kind of I wanted my original TP just to hit down here, right? Obviously, we had the draws way down here, and then the one lower, which would have been nice, especially if we had this wide stop here. We would have had amazing profit on the day. But original stop was here. I kind of took it basically where I made 300 on the day. Yeah, I basically ended up making 300 on this trade, and then we went up a little bit more. So that was the first trade of the day. And then the second trade of the day was when we actually inversed this fair value gap here. I entered on this candle here, and I actually got out right before the upward candle. Stop again was tight, right? Stop was like right here. Just for relative on this trade, and then TP was here on this trade. So I actually caught it from here to here, and then I closed my position early here. That just secured 500 profit. These were on 10 contracts, by the way, for each trade that we took today. So 10 contracts here is about 500. First trade was about 300. And then now that we have hindsight, right? We could have entered on the inversion of this gap, so right here. Again, stop here, but that stop is super wide. That's what, 290 to about, it's 100 tick stop, right? That's just too large of a stop to take, to risk on these trades, especially on a day like this where we had the previous day range is huge. So again, this could have been a nice trade on the day here. Could have also put an entry on the suspension block here. This would make it about, what, 50 ticks? Yeah, 80 tick stop. Again, 80 ticks is just way too much of a risk for me personally. So that's kind of why I just got out of these trades early. And then we did have to buy some short, so that was nice. And then going along with that, I know some people mentioned that Trump had tweeted something on X or Twitter or whatever you guys would call it. Something about being on the phone with China and he's going to go visit them in April. And that had a huge spike on one of these moves. I think it's about 100 tick spike. I think it was one of these moves. It might have been this move here. I know my buddy was in one of these shorts and he got stopped out, I think, right when Trump tweeted it. I think it was this one right here, right? His stop was about around this area. So I know some people took that trade. I know some people were pissed after, Trump kind of manipulating the market like that. But I was lucky enough today to end up being 800 in profit with those two shorts. Again, looking at hindsight, right? I was confident with my trades while, I could have let them ride. If I let them ride, my stop loss would have to been a little more, wider stop again. 80 ticks here. If this was your first entry, and 80 ticks is, a lot. If you're doing 10 contracts, that's, 1,200 stop loss on one trade. Just to make, especially when you're in a combine, you can only make 1,500. So I just ended up taking the profits early. I just paid myself. So that was nice. And then again, just looking through the days, you guys can see boom, boom, market's going down. Then eventually, we did end up taking that sell side. We actually ran it a lot more before we started coming up. And just looking at this kind of looks a little sloppy in here, but I'm pretty sure you guys could have caught a trade in here. For example, let's see if we could have caught a trade in here. Market structure shift, right? Could have caught this fair value gap in here. Could have caught an inversion of this gap, right? Stop right below the lows. And again, right? You want to take it out. It spots liquidity. And I know I didn't mention it. We did have some 1 minute SMTs. I don't necessarily like looking at 1 minute SMTs on the 1 minute time frame, but we did have some 1 minute SMTs. For example, let's see. I don't know why it's not showing up here. Because that's the new. Let's see if we can find it. There we go. Okay. So yeah, we did have some SMTs in here, as you guys can see. S&P did take out these highs. Nasdaq, we didn't end up taking those highs, so that could also been in kind of a tell or a confluence to tell you guys to go short. But yeah, overall, today was a really weird day. It's kind of one of those days you want to take lightly, just because, again, like I noted, this is one of the key takeaways. We have a large range on the previous day, the post day, or the current day is going to be, it's going to be very hard to kind of, our job is to predict the markets. It's going to be hard to kind of predict, and as well we have these insane stop losses up in here, and weird price action like this. This is kind of what I sat here for 20 minutes, 10 minutes, just seeing price not inverse it, not inverse it, not inverse it, not inverse it, until eventually we did. But yeah, that's kind of the key takeaway today, as well as the simple stuff that we note on pretty much every video on the trade recaps. But other than that, I think that's it for you guys. I know tomorrow's Thursday. I don't think we're gonna make a video tomorrow. Where did my screen go? There you go. I know we're not gonna make a video tomorrow, but we might end up making one on Friday and kind of just recap Thursday's trades if we end up taking a trade tomorrow. So, and again, sorry for this setup here. I got water bottles, medicine, all this crazy shit in the back, but that's kind of what we're dealing with today. Hopefully tomorrow I feel better and I'll be able to go back to normal. And again, I don't like this look either, so hopefully tomorrow's better. But yeah, again, if you guys like this video, leave a comment, like, subscribe, and see you guys Friday, not tomorrow, Friday. Peace.